I saved $20,000 last year as a single mom, and here's how I did it. Hi, everyone. My name is Jazz. Welcome to Becoming Light. I'm an accountant. I was making 55 to 60K. I'm a single mom, one income household. I have a 3-year-old boy. When I split up with my ex, I wasn't sure about my finances, and I decided to take things into my own hands, and I started tracking my income and expenses, kind of have an overview of what's going on and how I can save more money. Over time, I realized I was wasting money on some things, and I constantly kept looking into ways how I can save more. Over time, I kept increasing my monthly savings. I moved into a place for $1,100. It was new, but very tiny, and utilities were included. I was able to save more because of it. So I made drastic changes to be able to save $1,000 to $1,500 a month. And it kept fluctuating, but I tried to save as much as I can every month. I believe that having multiple streams of income is always best. In my case, I had my regular job, which didn't pay very much. I had my ex-husband who was paying child support, childcare benefits from the government. I had my new boyfriend who was very generous. And I made some money here and there as a side hustle. I used to flip designer shoes on Poshmark. I would find something new, something overlooked, something cheap on Marketplace around my area, and I would take screenshots of the ad and post it on Poshmark. And whenever somebody made a purchase from me, I would just go pick up the shoes and ship it to the buyer. And there was no risk involved. I feel like it can be done with anything else, like designer bags or some niche things like vintage things, but you need to be able to know what you're selling and the value to it. And in that department, people don't buy because they need it, people buy because they want it, and they're usually willing to pay a bit more to get what they want. I tried Instacart once. I don't think it's very profitable, but I feel like I had to test it out. I made a list of things that I implemented into my financial discipline, and I'm here to share it with you guys. First, your checking account, don't pay bank charges. This is bullshit. It's the biggest scam of the bank system. Don't do it. There's Wealthsimple. It's an online bank, you could say. I lived in Canada last year, and I'm talking about the Canadian system, but a lot of these things can be applied to everywhere. I'm sure there are banks like that. Most of the internet banks everywhere, they don't charge bank charges, and I believe it can be found in America or Europe or anywhere else. Wealthsimple, they don't charge bank charges. Instead of charging you, they pay you every month 2% divided by 12 for the money you keep in your checking account. I think that's much better. You can set up different checking accounts. You can name it as you wish. You can put emojis on it. I feel like it's more fun way of approaching money. Next, Rakuten. It is a platform that gives you cash back for your purchases. It's an app you can download on your phone, Rakuten, and you basically log in, set up everything, and whenever you're about to purchase something, you go look for that company through Rakuten, and you go into the store you want, and you make your purchase, and whatever you purchase, you get a cashback. Cashback differs depending on the time, but it all adds up at the end of the day, and you get a cashback every quarter, I believe. It can be a check or an e-transfer. I bought my Dyson. I got $25 cashback. I book my hotels through Booking, and I get like up to 6% cash back. Mani and pedi at home. I want to live nice. I want to look nice. I want to feel good about myself, and I don't want to overpay for things. And one of the biggest issue for me was finding someone to watch my kid while I go have my mani or get my lashes done. It was just too much stress for me every time finding a nanny or asking a friend to watch my kids. So I decided to order the equipment for nails and just do it myself. I have my mani and pedi all year round, and I feel good, and I think that's the best thing I've ever come up with. Every time something is wrong with your mani, you have to go and get it fixed, which was problematic for me. So I decided that doing it myself worked better for me. And I used to spend around $100 for mani and pedi, and that's the money I'm saving every time I choose to do it at home. And same with lashes. I used to go in, I paid $70 for each appointment. And again, I couldn't find someone to watch my kid all the time. So it was a bit problematic. And I decided to order Lashify one time, and I basically do my lashes at home. I can take them off and put them back on however I please, and it only takes me 15 minutes max. Yeah, it works for me right now. Another thing is laser hair removal at home works. I think the Braun is one of the best devices out there. It only costs $400 or $500, but when I used to go to an appointment, I would pay $200, and they didn't do every area, so I would spend $200 every month, and now I can do everything at home uh, by just spending $400 one time. Travel credit cards and lounge access. I feel like people believe that traveling is a luxury, not everybody can afford it, but I feel like it only requires good planning and some patience. Picking the right card is important. I took a trip to Mexico using my points. I paid 50,000 points, which I saved in 2 years as a one income household on, I don't have many expenses. I used 50,000 points and I had to pay $237 on top for a round trip to Mexico on a Christmas week. That was nice. And I get to use airport lounge access for complimentary uses, I think. You can take someone with you. It's nice when you have a delay or you have a 8-hour layover, for example. I am with CIBC. I think I have the Aventura Gold card, but they have better cards out there. I just haven't upgraded. I believe TD also has a good travel reward cards. You just need to look into these things. I think what I do is I just Google like best travel rewards cards in Canada. And I think NerdWallet is the website that ranks cards based on the rewards and the annual fee you have to pay. Basically, you can do your research and find what works for you. I didn't change much. I already had a CIBC card and I upgraded to the travel rewards card. And paying your credit card in full saves you a lot of money. Do not carry over an amount. Treat it like a debit card. I know it's hard when you're in debt and it can quickly pile up. It can feel stressful, but if you look at the big picture, 10,000, 20,000 debt you have, it's not impossible. You can pay it off. It's okay. And, if you made the mess, you can clean it up and you can learn from your mistakes. When I started keeping track of my expenses, I realized that I was overspending on clothes for my son. And every time I bought something, I would purchase things online, and every time it would be like $150 for 3 pants and 3 shirts. And I decided to shop from Facebook Marketplace. I would just look for things that are in good condition, good brands, things I would buy from those stores. And I would, look for a person who was selling the most items, so that age, preferably they would have like hunter boots, the summer shoes, the sneakers, everything else, including clothes. And I would just make one trip and buy it from them for like $40-50, and we would just donate things after. Or I had this community of women. We would just trade clothes, kids' clothes and toys as we use them. So we didn't have to spend hundreds of dollars every time, every 6 months, basically. Another thing that changed my life is buying an espresso machine for home. I make my own latte in the morning and it makes me happy. I wake up for it. This is the only motivation that wakes me up in the morning. I don't go to Starbucks anymore. I buy egg whites from the store and I make my latte, and my Starbucks breakfast is ready. Espresso machine is not cheap. You can buy one on Marketplace as well. That's what I did. It doesn't have to be $500 espresso machine. You can upgrade later. Another thing I do is doing my taxes myself on Wealthsimple tax app. You basically log in online. It has your entire information, what you have, what money you have, what you invested, your profits from investments. It already generates a form. It connects with the CRA profile. Basically, it's very easy, straightforward. It asks you questions based on your situation. It saves your information for next year, and you can basically do it yourself. It's not complicated, and you can optimize your return as much as you can. Another thing I did last year was buying used furniture. I moved places and I had to buy some furniture. I feel like it's important for me to live in a place that I like. I feel like it's important that I'm inspired by my environment. So I had to buy some furniture. I bought them used on Marketplace. I'm a single mom. I don't have a truck, so I hired a delivery guy from Marketplace to deliver things for me. I only had to pay like $100 or $200 for bigger items if you had to hire someone else to carry things with him. And I was in regular contact with this guy. He would deliver things for me, and it was good business. And I would get a rental carpet cleaner for couches and some other things that I wanted to clean, and it only costs like less than $100 to rent it. Superstore, Canadian Tire, places to rent it from. And if I were to buy things new, I would have lost thousands of dollars on them. I would prioritize things that are made of wood, leather, good quality, last longer, so you can potentially resell them on Marketplace for the same price or higher. Live edge table, stuff like that. Something trendy, good looking, good quality, not IKEA or HomeSense. And again, I use Poshmark for my shoe obsession. I buy designer shoes. I don't want to pay full price. I love Vagabond shoes. It's a Swedish brand. And whenever I order it from Sweden, back in the day, I used to do that. And I would have to pay duty when it comes to me. And the shoes cost $300 per pair. And it was just too expensive, but they last me for 5 years without a problem. Later, I discovered that there's a lady who sells brand new Vagabond shoes for cheap. Like you can make an offer, like I offer $60 to buy something, or basically it cost me less than $100. That's what I've been doing recently. I hope this information changes the way how you shop. Another thing to mention, as you know, I had to divorce, and I had to deal with a lawyer to get a divorce. And when you go to a lawyer, you book a consultation, and they usually charge you a retainer, $2,000 to $3,000. And I would recommend not to pay. What I did was I just booked the consultation, paid my 200 something dollars, and I claimed it on my tax return as an expense. This was the money used for consultation to determine the child support amount. I didn't have to pay a retainer, and that would be a waste of money. And all that work you can do yourself. You can ask ChatGPT to draft up a separation agreement. You can adjust it however you want. You can put in your details. And what I did was I drafted up some paperwork, separation agreement, standing travel authorization. Every time I travel somewhere with my kid, I don't have to ask for permission every time from my ex. He already gave me permission to travel anywhere I want, anytime I want with my kid. And I basically drafted everything, went to my lawyer and said, like, what is enforceable, what is not, what should I put in my separation agreement. She made some notes, and at the end of the appointment, I asked if I could make a copy of her notes, and she basically agreed. And I went home and drafted up my own separation agreement and got it signed, and it worked. I didn't have to pay thousands of dollars to a lawyer. Employee match program with your employer. If you have that offer, take advantage of that. RESP. As soon as you have a kid, make sure you open up an RSP. You save 200 something dollars every month towards your child's education, so you don't have to stress about it when the time comes. And every year, government pays you, I think, $2,000 as a grant towards your kid's education. And the money is also invested in things, so you can get some kind of return out of your money. I would suggest going with a regular bank or Wealthsimple. I'm with CST. I do not recommend this organization. They charge too much management fees, and yeah, I think they're in trouble in Quebec. I think there is a class action against them. So yeah, don't make my mistake. Another thing I discovered is cutting my son's hair. I bought a trimmer for $60, and I just cut his hair every month, and I save $25 every time I do it. Taking advantage of your insurance coverage is another thing. Money not used is money wasted. Book your massage with an RMT, find the one that works for you. And therapy as well. I didn't have much time for it, but I feel like it needs to be taken advantage of. And glasses, contact lenses, you can buy sunglasses and get it covered. Another thing, I don't know if it's eligible for everyone, but international roaming. Every time I travel to the US, Virgin charges me $13 per day, which is a steal. And I basically switched to a travel roaming package. I paid $100 for the entire year, and I can travel wherever internationally, and I don't pay anything. I can use data, and I think I can make calls to Canada or like locally in that country, and I don't get charged for it. If you don't have that option, Freedom Mobile is another thing. No roaming charges for US, Canada, and Mexico. It's better than nothing. Living close to work, which I did, I was spending a lot on fuel. I mean, not a lot, but I was spending relatively more on fuel when I was living in a different city from my work. I only had to drive 30 minutes every day, but it's a 30-minute one way, 1 hour every day. It took away my time and energy and money. So I decided to live closer to work, and I would only drive 8 minutes to work, and it was great. It was a good decision I made, and I saved money on fuel and possibly the depreciation of my car. Another thing I forgot to mention is whatever I get as a child care benefits from the government, I don't touch it. I save everything. I buy stocks for it. Um, the things I invest in is the S&P 500, which is going down right now, but I'm sure it will go up. It usually has historically, it's been giving a 10% average return every 10 years, which is better than a regular savings account. And another thing I recently started buying is ITA. It's basically ETF of all the defense companies of the US. Um, it's also going down recently, but I have hope. I mean, with the recent developments, it should be okay. It should go up. And Coke, my favorite. I've been buying Coke for a long time. It gives you a decent return depending on when you start investing. I pulled all my money and started investing in it again around November, and it's giving me like around 30% return, which is like huge money. So yeah, tax refund, I usually get a decent amount and I try not to touch it. Also goes towards stock market. I feel like another thing worth mentioning is having a budget on your grocery bills and not ordering takeout. Maybe like having a limit of one takeout or two takeouts a month. What I did was me and my son, we both love good food, and I learned how to make the foods we love at home. So I learned to make, butter chicken, fish curry, and I made Chinese noodle soup, and I kept frozen food in the freezer for days when I didn't want to cook. I had my wine in box. I had a budget for that too. Another thing to mention is being patient about your wants. Um, Not buy things impulsively when you want it. That's one of the things I struggled with. Solution to that would be, I would say, like wait for 2-3 months, and if you still want it, then okay, go ahead and buy it, but not like, you know, buy it for full price. I would find a good deal, or ask my man to buy it for me for the next occasion, or just because. Last thing I would mention is having weights at home. As a single mom, I can't go and work out at the gym as a single woman. So what I did was I had weights at home and I would work out here and there. But it requires discipline and prioritizing self-care, which I struggle with. But it's another way of saving money if you don't want to commute to the gym or pay for membership every month. That's it for today. I hope this video helped. I'll see you on the next one.